You're listening to the Cinema Sports Club, the podcast that brings you into the roundtable discussion on box office sports. We debate players, coaches, teams, and more. This is the Cinema Sports Club. Michael Hotard alongside Manny Rodriguez, Ryan Soche, Lance Ural, and Danny Hillman. Brian once again out because, in case you didn't notice, we're wearing the same clothes we were in episode 1.
Y'all are wearing the same clothes you were in episode 1.
Thanks, Lance. On today's, on episode 2, we're going to talk about what makes a great sports movie.
You're the Chris Collinsworth of this podcast.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know. Chris
still
Collins?
makes a lot of money.
Now, here's a guy.
Or is it Joe Buck?
No.
First of all, if I'm anybody, I'm Colin Cowherd, whatever the fuck his name is, because honestly, only half the shit he says makes sense.
All right, good talk. So, episode 2, we're talking about what makes a great sports movie.
I'll punch him in the dick.
Edit.
Don't edit this out.
So,
Or this.
So for sports movies, I guess it depends on what you're looking for. For me personally, I like a sports movie that kind of takes the emotions full circle. You have, your heartfelt moments, you have your comedic moments, and then obviously, every sports movie, with the exception of probably a handful, end in triumph. There's very few movies that end with the team you're cheering for losing. One I can think of is actually Bad News Bears. But for me personally, one huge factor to start this off, I think, is a great coach.
Okay.
Because when I look at all my favorite sports movies, Remember the Titans, Bad News Bears even, there's that iconic coach. We mentioned in episode 1, Danny, Jimmy Dugan, League of Their Own. I like having a great coach because, number one, it adds that flair, I guess, of having an iconic figure kind of lead the charge. Tony D'Amato is another one that's coming to mind right now with one of the best sports movie speeches in any given Sunday,
Herman Boone.
So let me ask you this. When you say great coach, you mean like a polarizing figure? Because there's some good sports movies with bad coaches.
Bad News Bears.
Bud Kilmer, Varsity Blues.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Horrible.
Right? Whoever Keanu Reeves was in the baseball movie.
Hardball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a horrible coach.
Hold on, time out. Once he got off the sauce, Keanu Reeves was a solid baseball coach. He brought them to the Cubs game and to the championship.
That's fair. Cucumbas all the way. Now, wait, didn't he bring him to the Cubs game because he had money on the game?
Yeah.
No, he won tickets.
Oh,
to the game.
okay.
Or he exchanged money for.
So all we're saying, though, is it needs to be a
Someone
coach that...
polarizing.
Okay.
I think that's more
Love it
accurate.
when you call me Big Pop.
And, I know you mentioned Bad News Bears, which kind of goes... which kind of goes away from polarizing, so to speak. But I think Moore's Buttermaker, in a sense, was polarizing in his own way. Like,
Yeah.
if he gave a shit about the team seemed to give a shit. Because early in the movie, obviously, you had them
Right.
just kind of, oh, yeah, we're the laughing stock of the league, no biggie.
Yeah.
And then Moore's Buttermaker, once, he hides the alcohol a little bit,
they were bad
he actually
news.
gives a shit.
Bad news.
They're badass.
I feel like that's a common theme in sports movies.
The alcohol.
Once the alcoholic coach realizes, maybe I'll take a break from the sauce.
Boom.
But no, polarizing figures, because when I think of best sports movies, Remember the Titans obviously pops up. Herman Boone, I think, is one of the biggest prime examples of
Hey,
that.
don't you shadow on the white counterpart.
Ned Yost.
I don't know. Coach Carter.
And yeah, Coach Carter's
Carter is
another one.
quintessential.
Samuel Jackson, definitely on the sauce.
Very well-off business owner. In
Hey,
that
what's
movie,
the
okay?
subject again? Is
Are we
it
talking
coaches
about-
on sauce or
We're
what?
talking about Coach Carter or Pulp Fiction?
Which one?
I like to think that's the same guy.
It was great.
Fro or no fro? Oh, no, he had a Jerry curl kind of thing.
Yeah. But no. I mean, to get back on, I see what you're talking about. You need someone that
You need a big personality. Huh?
gets the team to either rally for or against. Kind of they kind of are the centerpiece of the team rallying together. I think in a lot of good sports
when you
movies.
say against, a good example is Varsity Blues.
Bud Kilmer,
The reason they came together is because they all hated that asshole.
Yeah. You know, so I agree with you. You get an eye from me as far as the coach needing to be a polarizing figure. Anyone else think?
I agree on that.
I mean, either way, yeah, it has to either be good or bad. But I mean, really, they're most of the time the character that brings the team up.
Mm-hmm.
Varsity Blues is your exception, really.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other ones that really where the coach is bringing the team down.
Right.
But definitely needs to happen in a sports movie. Have a coach. Pretty big character, doesn't need to be the main character, obviously.
Right.
But definitely adds to it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, if I'm sitting here thinking of more and more in my head as some of my favorite sports movies. I mean, remember the Titans? You have a lot of big figures in that, like Gary Bertier, Julius Campbell, but it all comes back to Herman Boone. I mean, I think most people would probably say he's the most iconic in that movie.
I think it's wrong that you left out Sunshine.
I actually thought the same thing.
Fair enough. But Miracle's another one. Herb Brooks.
Couldn't get the pitch.
Herb Brooks is one of the greatest coaches in a sports movie. I
Yeah.
think.
So
and it's a real movie.
Underrated
It's a
sports
real-
Gene
movie.
Hackman
Yeah,
and the
talking about
replacements.
Yeah.
Without him, they all would have went to shit.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have ever come together.
Yeah, I mean, he's honest.
What kind of recruiting?
He recruited,
The
coached,
recruiting
and
Gene
told
Hackman.
the owner to go to hell
Did.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
multiple times.
another great one that I'm thinking of now, as far as coaches go, is I don't know that he's the prime star in these movies because, well, it's a star-studded series, but Lou Brown in Major League. I think everyone loves Lou Brown.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, I don't know that he's more popular than Rick Vaughn, Pedro Serrano, maybe even, well, I guess you can kind of include Jake Taylor as a coach, but
Big time.
but Lou Brown's
And
another great one.
That one's a little bit of a gray area because if you look at it, Brown did coach the team, but at the same time, probably just as much as Taylor did.
Yeah.
And that the duty of a catcher, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
baseball in itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No, I agree with you. I think what I like to see in a lot of sports movies too is not necessarily a team, but having at least one character on the team that's a true underdog.
yeah.
You know,
completely
to the
agree.
point where, you know, when he first joins, you kind of cringe, like looking at, oh, damn, what's he going to do now? You know, and sometimes they are the main character, but
A lot of
other
times-
times.
Well, I think you have a perfect example of that with the replacements with Shane Falco.
As well as Varsity Blues, once again, with Mox.
Mox.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, everybody in the replacements is an underdog.
Yeah.
Everybody on the team is.
Yeah.
The one criminal couldn't even use his real name.
But no,
Thanks,
you get what I'm saying.
Hey.
Yeah, Chris Collinsworth for the win. But no, you have to have that guy that just doesn't really belong. He's kind of the black sheep or the outcast. Because well, let's face it. No sports team ever starts off. You know, it never starts and ends with the entire team, every player being dominant.
Right.
Why? That would be boring.
Yeah.
So I think you need a true underdog player, even in the longest yard. Brucey.
Yeah.
Right?
If he didn't kick that onside kick,
Yeah.
that's the game.
So I'm going to throw that in there too as part of the recipe. So I think you need a polarizing coach, and you need that true underdog character that comes in and kind of surprises people. They don't always have to be the lead.
That's literally
most-
the point of the movie of
Yeah.
Rudy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
the most perfect example actually is Rudy. I mean, the whole story centered around a guy, 5'0", 100, hardly a speck of athletic ability.
Who they
And
put
he's-
at D end.
Wait, are we talking about
Right.
Rudy or Soche?
I can only
man.
imagine so
That dude's a solid 5'5".
At Notre Dame.
5'5"?
At Notre Dame.
5'4.5".
But, no, I think an underdog, I mean, as cliche as it is, America loves the underdog, so.
Absolutely.
Very true.
But no, I think that's a huge part of the recipe. I guess, Lance, to you, man, what do you need in a sports movie that we haven't already said that has to be there?
I am a big fan of, to me, that one guy in your movie that I won't say is the centerpiece, but without him, there's no team.
Your glue guy.
You're glue. Exactly. To me personally, Varsity Blues, Charlie Tweeter. Did you see
Billy
anyone
Bob,
else?
man.
Did you see
I'm gonna say
anyone else?
Billy Bob.
Did you see anyone else catch a pass other than Billy Bob in that movie?
No.
Can you think of anyone?
No.
No. Moxon suddenly had a phenomenal arm.
Mhm.
He had to throw it to someone.
Well, but
You
where was
look at-
Tweeter when Lance was there, man? Where was Tweeter when Lance was there?
Lance only played for about a quarter of a game in the actual
the movie trailer?
Yeah.
He was in for the movie trailer.
Yeah.
Then he had to
Um,
go do
and-
Fast and the Furious.
You got to think of, in my opinion,
And then
personally, you can go all the way to your baseball movies. Look at Benny the Jet. Was not the main character of that movie. But without him, they were all garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Jake Taylor's a good one in
Jake
Major
Taylor.
League.
Absolutely.
See, and I would even say Vince Vaughn.
What
in
are the
that
Ducks
case.
without Charlie
Rick Vaughn?
Conway?
Yeah, Charlie Conway, I
Vaughn?
think, is that.
Rick Vaughn. Sorry.
Rick Vaughn.
Because
Said
Charlie
Vince Vaughn,
Conway,
sorry, it's fine, yeah.
Charlie Conway. I mean, he wasn't the most talented
He
by
doesn't
any
play-
stretch.
He doesn't play defense.
Make
He
him make a
scores.
first move, Conway.
But no, I mean, in D1, he was the worst player on the team.
Yeah.
Like they called him Spazway.
Yeah.
D2, he kind of took on the role as the leader, but you still had Adam Banks, who was a better player. You had Dean Portman, who was a better player. Fulton Reed.
In their respective positions.
Don't forget about
No,
Russ.
of course.
And
Steve
don't
Orr
forget
was
about
great.
Russ.
And don't forget about Goldberg.
Knuckle
Pre-crack.
puck. Yeah.
Pre-crack.
Yeah.
Pre-crack and then pre-crack crack.
Right.
But
He just got arrested.
But there's a good bit of them where I noticed that in sports movies where you have just your glue, like you said,
Gary Bertier.
Gary Bertier. Because once all these other players came, Gary was not the best guy on the team.
yeah.
But without him, they were falling apart.
Especially when they all reunited 10 years later.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I just went along with it and didn't hear what you said. But I can think of, let me think, Jimmy Dugan movie.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Without Madonna. And I'm not even making
That's
a
your
joke,
example
though.
of the glue person.
Madonna.
If they hit a ball to the outfield, remember that movie. Who did you see catch the ball?
Betty Spaghetti had a shoestring catch where she was on the front page.
One. They literally showed 26 games in that movie that they played.
How many balls?
Oh, really? 26?
I don't know. I just made that number up.
Fact
But-
check.
We've snoped you. That is wrong.
I
But
think the replacement's Franklin's probably the guy that's your glue guy, right?
Yeah.
actually, no.
No.
I'd go with
It's the guards.
No, you know who was the
no.
glue?
It's
The
the
Def
guards,
tight
man.
end.
keeping with
if you-
gender identity here. You know who was the glue person in League of Their Own? You're
Cheerleader.
wrong. It's Marla Hooch.
Ah,
Ooh, Marlo's a good one.
That
She
is a
is,
good one,
yeah.
too.
But let's get back to the replacements, okay? It's clearly the guards because when Shane's getting...
His truck flipped
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
And that
who
brings them all
busts
together.
out the Glock?
The guards,
Guards.
right?
However, are we gonna forget that Funko ate the the hard-boiled egg?
But at the end-
threw up on the field. That's what brought the team together in there. You can't forget that.
No. That's
just call
separated the team
Funko?
literally.
No, they all got
You just call
together
it
and then
Funko.
they what I know. It's a mixture of Fatso and his actual name, where they all did the shuffle together. And in the commentary in the movie, they
But
say
even in
that's the first organized thing that team
But
has done all
even
game.
in that moment,
fair point.
who made them shuffle? Franklin.
And, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up if they don't move.
If I'm being honest, if we're going to talk about the replacements with the glue, they rallied against Eddie Martell.
Yeah.
True.
He actually was the glue without
When he didn't want to be the
wanting
glue.
to be the glue. So,
like the
but
glue
yeah,
guy.
I agree. I think you need a glue guy.
Yeah.
So
you know.
so we got polarizing coach, glue guy, and then we have
That true
the-
like underdog that just basically doesn't belong on the team. Sometimes they're comedic relief. Sometimes you rally around
Ryan
them.
Gosling and remember the Titans?
it's complete liability.
Really shouldn't be
he
on
was
the
more
team.
overrated.
But
He was overrated.
he let
Remember?
everybody know
mean,
that his
that-
roommate wore
Sunshine
leopard
would be-
print bikini draws. He tried to sing country music.
But Sunshine would be that underdog because
Yeah.
he started out as the backup
No.
quarterback.
Forget him.
Don't you
He
tell me
couldn't
no.
get the pitch.
Don't you tell me that.
Thanks
Can't-
for teaching me Veer, Rob.
So, but and also I think for the movies to make a good sports movie, you have to have that one person that like doubts you. See Randy Quaid
Yeah.
in Major League. You know, like
Right.
and
Martell and replacements.
See Dennis Quaid in Any Given Sunday.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Or the
He did not
offensive
like
coordinator
Willie
and the
Beeman.
and the
Well, I mean the one
The
who
doctor.
I think the
Cameron
epitome
Diaz.
of the
Cameron
epitome of
Diaz.
someone who doubts you, I think, is Rachel Phelps in Major League.
without a doubt, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about an owner who literally tried to put together a ragtag team to tank.
Can we, if we're talking about especially the pro teams, obviously I'm getting the connection that a really shitty owner. Look at all of them.
Or commissioner.
League,
look at Hardball, right?
Or commissioner. Look at
Bad News Bears.
Roger Goodell.
Gee, thanks, fella. Roger Goodell's a good one.
Yeah.
Which actually, draft day is pretty realistic. So
Yeah, that's true.
Draft day is underrated.
Draft
Another
day is underrated. Yeah.
You need to throw that in. Write that down.
Keep in mind,
Write it down. Check the minutes.
one of the first picks for the Browns is the Black Panther. So,
Who he was.
Fonte Mack.
All right, so Manny, what for you? I guess has to be an integral part of a sports movie.
I guess not in all sports movies because not all sports movies have teams, but that team camaraderie moment where everybody finally buys in.
the throw up on the field.
Who? Ha.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
That I think the moment really came at the graveyard.
When Caretaker died.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
that moment where the team just comes together and they're just it's one. Everybody's playing for each other, and that's like in real sports. Once you start, if you actually have that mentality, you grow from there, big time. You play for each other. It's not just a selfish movement. Even though there's always another thing that's always in sports movies, there's always a star, Adam Banks. Even though he's not the main character, the star is still there. He's still known to be the best player, but he's still playing for the team as well.
Yeah.
The selfishness, there's no selfishness on the team.
Partman.
The only thing I don't like about that is the fact that almost every movie I can think of, when that camaraderie moment comes, something really shitty always happens right after.
That's fair. That's fair.
To the team. Now they're still a team. They're close.
We just had the adversary.
Yeah, exactly.
Adversary. Adversary.
That's
New
the
word.
anniversary of the adversity.
Please edit that.
No, but I agree. But the moment the team got together, hey, Gary.
Yeah, but then they still come back from the grave. They're like a phoenix.
So it's kind of like two stages where they come together
Initially.
and then where they overcome they try.
Well, I guess since the first thing that got brought up was the hoo-ah and the synchronized dance that they did to come out and remember the Titans. After that, I mean, it was a downward spiral. You had the fights. Another example I thought of, after a big win, they go out on the town, and they can't go into a restaurant because they have black friends with them.
Yeah, it's segregated.
So
And Sunshine doesn't understand because he's from California.
Right.
Damn it, Sunshine.
They said the word California in that scene about 15 times.
Count it up.
He's
But
from California.
Is that the right number?
No, probably not.
No,
Fact check.
Fact check.
I make up all of these numbers just a quick add-on to the series.
Going back to Miracle, I think that's one of the best coming-of-age moments when Herb Brooks, again, making them do laps after they lose, again. And then finally, Mike Eruzione, he's out of breath.
I'm proud of you remembering all these names, though.
I actually saw him speak when we went to Lake Placid. So.
No, that movie just has a lot of rough names to remember.
He's kneeling on the ice like the team can't even get up, and for the whole movie you have Herb Brooks. Who do you play for? And they keep listing their colleges and things like that, and he's finally like, Mike Eruzione. And Herb Brooks just kind of looks back like,
is he going to do it?
Who do you play for? The United States of America. And then he's like, all right.
And then they cut
Call
that guy. And then they cut that guy from the team.
Well, he was on the team.
Not him, the other guy. The one that they cut halfway through the movie.
You're getting shit mixed up. Yeah, that was Ralph Cox they cut.
I'm just saying. They cut a good guy.
Do better.
He just said that guy. So,
exactly.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Fact check. I bet you it's that guy.
That moment's always
I forget
there.
they only cut the bad ones in the Olympic trials.
It always
Isn't
hits
that
you.
a
It
dumb-
hits you-
Like, hey, we got to
it
make
hits you in
6
the heart.
cuts. Let's find the worst. Let's make this
It
easy.
hits you in the gut. It brings you to that moment where you know this is a sports movie. This is why you're here for this moment.
Another one that just came to mind is in Invincible. I think the comment was after he found out he made the Philadelphia Eagles. Vince Papale pretends his car's broken down. He calls up his best friend over to check out his car, and he's like, "There's nothing wrong. with your car. He throws down the hood. Vince Papale's just sitting there posted up, arms folded, with a smirk on his face. He goes, "You made the team. You made the Eagles. You're a Philadelphia freaking Eagle." And that was another
cut
cool
for Disney.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
We already know what was said there.
Yeah.
Right, they're in Boston or Philly.
Come on, God.
I'm thinking Mark Wahlberg, man. Leave me alone.
Shut up
Leave me
and
alone.
read the shirt.
Do better. But no, they're in Philly. So yeah, absolutely. You know he's dropping an F-bomb in that situation. But no, that's a really good one. And
even in Invincible, when he, you know how he bitched out of playing with the guys that he played with every weekend? When he decided, screw it, and he went and played again. Mm-hmm. That's when they cut to him actually playing the game, and he was doing amazing after that.
Yeah.
You know, it was that moment where he realized the reason I made the team is because I play on that football field the way I do on this one.
With quarterback pads.
Another
Quarterback pads.
You can't use regular pads. You had to use quarterback pads.
It slows him down.
Yeah. He's too small.
The in Rudy, the big coming to age moment, I think, was
jerseys, absolutely.
It's definitely
no. I'm gonna go with something before then. It was when they were in the factory. They're having lunch, and his best friend Pete gets him the Notre Dame jacket, and puts it on. He's like, "You were born to wear that jacket." 2 minutes later, there's an emergency at the plant. Spoiler alert: Pete gets blown up, and that's when Rudy goes back to college, and he's like, "I need this. I need this for me." And
for my friend.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool moment.
Right. I agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. We still going around. I have more to contribute.
Well, let's start with Soche. We haven't heard from Soche. So what's a good narrative in a sports movie that it absolutely needs?
I'm glad you came to me last because what I kept thinking about is it's the last game of the season. Can't hold anything back. There's got to be a great.
That's because he showed up on time for that one.
Yeah. He thinks that's when the movie started.
So there's got to be a great finale. There's got to be a great game at the end of the either a championship game or a game to get into the playoffs or whatever it is, and it's usually involves some kind of onside kick or some kind of pass from Bobby Boucher to the quarterback or whatever.
So, just something epic.
Something epic, yeah.
You know, one of the things that I remember,
the Foo Fighters playing in Varsity Blues, that was the moment I knew it was going to be good.
In The Longest Yard, in the remake with Adam Sandler, I remember watching this in theaters. I think that came out when I was in 8th grade, maybe. And
really?
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a while. But I remember I'm sitting in the movie, and I'm forgetting I'm in a freaking movie. And as these bone-jarring hits are happening, as these big plays, I'm like in my seat, I'm going crazy. I'm like, this isn't a real sporting event. Why am I doing this? And I caught myself doing that multiple times. But, like, that's one of the, I guess, things that come to mind when it comes to end of the movie, big game.
Statue of Liberty play.
Burt Reynolds actually going in the game.
Right.
But you're the coach.
Coach Carter, the game where the LeBron-esque player shoots the last shot.
Are we going to sit here and not mention G-Baby?
No, we're not.
But that wasn't the last game.
I thought that's how they won the championship.
No, G-Baby dies, and then they go to the championship, and they win the championship.
Oh, so he got the hit to send them to the championship.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a courtesy thing. Like, your teammate gets a bullet, let's send him to the championship, you know?
I got you.
Too soon, man. G-Baby's still...
That movie was made in 1920. Don't you fact check that one.
Fact check!
Robert Redford is actually Keanu Reeves. You just didn't know.
Charlie Chaplin stars in...
It's the first sports movie silent film.
Hey, that takes hard acting, man. Charlie Chaplin playing a young black man. That's very different. That's very difficult.
But another thing I think that sports movies need is either you got to be able to quote it, or you got to be able to use it for some sort of motivation.
Well, it's got
like some clip.
It's got to have It's got to have that
soundbite,
moving moment.
Yeah, you got to have that go get 'em speech. That win one for the Gipper.
Yeah. Like you don't find that in Transformers.
Maybe
you know how many lines Shia LaBeouf has that I can just go to the gym and pump it out to?
Just Do it.
Roll out. Immediately, I think of that every time.
Autobots.
Roll out.
Roll out.
But
And then he dies.
Why does everyone die in our podcast?
Sorry, Paul.
but
Gee, baby.
with that
Lance's the
with that speech.
Every time.
All right, I'm going home. This was nice.
Oh no, you're not. Not on that knee.
You're right. Oh, that's the best thing you've ever said in your life. And definitely in mine.
I think Ryan has a
Started-
grand total of 6 words for the 2 episodes, 5 of which have been
For
ultimate
every
bombs.
false stat that Lance throws out, Soche's come back with it. Just perfect comeback on something.
But no,
And I love it.
getting back to the point here. So, having that big speech throughout the movie. You look at all the great sports movies. I think every single Mighty Ducks film has that. You have
Hans.
Glue guy.
We are
Talk
ducks.
about a
Super
glue guy.
We are
Man, y'all
ducks.
still
Gorilla glue guy.
Yeah.
I'm still not over Hans, man.
I don't think anyone is. I don't think we ever will be.
Again, why does everyone die in our podcast? Maybe that's something that makes a sports movie.
A dead guy.
I think we're realizing it as we talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
someone needs to die.
Chubbs.
Or at least
Chubbs!
or at least close to it, because Gary.
Died.
No,
His
Yeah.
legs died.
He dies
No,
later.
he died.
He died.
No,
later.
can we-
That's what brings it back together.
It's true.
Yeah.
Solid
Can we
point.
just say this though? At
No one
least,
died in Varsity Blues, but Paul Walker. Like,
No one died in Major
Tweeter's
League.
liver was very close.
But Lou Brown had a heart attack and almost died.
I love this British.
I love
I
it.
may move to England.
Was that your little Nicky impression?
It sounded like
I'm not. Popeye's chicken is fucking awesome.
Disney, man, chill.
Popeye's chicken is freaking awesome.
And they're associated with the plug. You can't do that. Copyright.
We're going to need to tape his cup every time.
Yeah. No, hide the label. But
Destiny.
no, does anyone else have anything to add to what makes a sports movie
Other than the dead,
must watch?
other than the dead guy, I mean, they're probably.
Can we go away from dead guys?
We haven't said a great villain, a great.
Like the opposing team, Dallas Carter, something like
Yeah,
that.
That was 10 words, and he's on point.
Either
He's made
an
2
opposing team or Drago and Rocky or Apollo at first.
Damn.
Oh.
Johnny
We've been
Lawrence
leaving
and-
Rocky out.
Yeah.
Johnny Lawrence and John Kreese in
Yeah.
Karate Kid. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Sweep the leg.
Yeah.
One of the best lines in sports movie.
yeah.
Martel and the replacements.
Yeah,
You gotta
Martel.
go.
Okay, let's be honest though. He doesn't even compare to Drago or
Greg Kinnear and the
Johnny
new Bad News Bears. I
Shooter
think people
McGavin.
like seeing your nuts. Shooter McGavin, yeah.
So I just thought about this. In the original Bad News Bears, the lady that runs the rec league presents them with the second place trophy, and Walter Matthau. He goes,
You want to finish it?
he goes, "Thank you, sir."
Yeah.
And the
Well, they do it. They do it.
lady
They do it in the second one too. In the remake, Billy Bob Thornton's in there. He goes, "Gee, thanks, fella."
just the little subtle shot, and she just looks up at him like,
The,
"Fucking piece of shit."
the opposing coach in Waterboy.
Yeah.
Like,
Can we just talk about a true villain here who's not getting mentioned? The damn Cowboys and the Little Giants,
Yes.
Bobby Boucher's mom as well.
It's the
I'm
devil.
kidding. Foosball's the devil.
But
She's the devil.
Your daddy.
Roberto.
The hell with school, dummy.
And then that
Take
noise
the
she
money.
makes. I can't even. Yeah.
Nah, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong.
No, what
Mama
was
said-
the linebacker's name for the Cowboys and the Little Giants?
Spike.
Spike. Yeah.
Spike don't care.
Spike don't play with girls.
He looks like a little Robert Gronkowski.
Dude, that's also the villain
Also a
in
little
Brink.
man.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
Brink.
he was
That's the
that
villain in
is.
Brink.
He's Val Horner and Brick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
That boy
For
was
every
born to be
stat
a
you
villain.
get wrong, he knows a name.
That's fair.
Val Horner. Brink. Like,
The
who
one.
knows that?
Do we know anybody else's name in Brink other than Brink?
Gabriella, Andy Brinker, Pete, Jordy.
Fact checked right here.
Dad's name was Ralph.
Oh, God.
I don't know the
No. Hang on. I may call bullshit because none of us know the name, so he may just
You might be
throw
just
it out.
spewing them out, right?
Fact check.
Fact check, and I'm right.
Wait, it's gonna be an honor to say this for myself.
Little sister's
Fact check.
Little sister's name's Katie.
Katie,
That is
I
right.
can
That
vouch
is
for
right.
it.
I can remember Katie.
What's the point of having a high metabolism if I don't use it?
God, that's a great quote. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nunya.
None of your business,
Yeah.
man.
God,
But Team
damn it, I'm going
Team
back to
X
Disney.
Blades in Brink. I mean, that's great villains right
Right.
there.
Not all of them. The old Power Ranger, the black
Yes.
guy.
The
He
Black Power Ranger.
Zach.
He was also an African American man.
Edit.
Fact check.
Censor.
Also,
Please,
Merriman.
please edit out black. The Black Ranger from the Power Rangers movie. He
Yes.
turned. He saw the change of
well,
heart.
initially, weren't they friends initially, and then he went to Team X
He's-
Blades?
yeah.
I can't
He's the one
remember.
that
No, that was Brink.
He's the one that got
No,
hurt.
I know Brink, but I thought initially they were still cool. Like there was no like.
There was no backstory behind it. He was just with him, and then he turned on him after.
He was the one that got
Well, he was
hurt
the one
when
that
they
got
raced
injured.
at the school.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then he watched.
I don't
He knew
remember this.
Val put the gravel on the road when Gabriella got hurt.
Right.
And,
And
that's-
really, she just got a scrape. Like,
she broke her arm.
did she?
Lips are chapped. They hurt.
Did you watch it like this week?
No, I've just.
Oh, right.
I've just seen it 40 times. Probably more than that.
Fact check.
You might need a fact check.
We need to fact check that number.
Fact check.
Actually.
But
What are? I mean, yeah, the villains. Soche's right.
Yeah.
You need a good.
I hate when Soche's right.
Antagonist.
Yeah.
Correct word.
The antagonist is the correct
Yes.
word. So.
and mentioning Friday Night Lights with Dallas Carter earlier. Don't remember who did that. I fucking hated watching that game and that movie.
Coach with the lollipop.
So you edited out fucking earlier.
I didn't edit out fucking.
You just didn't say it on purpose. And now you edited it?
Yeah, because it felt right there, Lance.
I understand. I'm here. I support you.
Choose your words
That
wisely.
movie made them look like they were playing so dirty. And
Yeah.
I'd like to know. That's a fact check that I'd really like.
If
That
Dallas,
was really like that.
there's actually a documentary on Dallas Carter on
Yeah.
Netflix.
There is, but I haven't watched
Yeah.
it.
check!
Fact check.
Fact check.
I think that's gonna be a thing on the episodes. Am I right?
Yeah.
Fact checks.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that now should
it's-
definitely be a solid
we
it's
also
been
left
born.
out,
Fact
we
check.
left out the
born.
Monstars.
Wow.
We just said the episode now. Soche coming in with the knowledge bombs.
Should we have MVPs for every episode, or are all MVPs just gonna be Soche?
It's
I think
pretty
honestly, the four of us should just leave and let Soche end this. We need to get out of here. You have another hour to yourself. Keep up the good work.
much. Who is the villain in Celtic Pride, though?
Damon Lewis.
Lewis Scott?
Yeah.
He got kidnapped. How's that guy the villain?
Well, it's a matter of perspective. So.
It's okay to kidnap your opponent.
Yeah. No. Without
Life
that.
lesson today. But no, so villains, something, and then
The what's that? The pitcher's name in Rookie of the Year. The big
Judd
old,
Stedman.
No,
No.
No, it's not the pitcher.
he's a hit.
It's
It's
the
Hato.
hitter.
Hato.
the hitter. You're right, because he's the pitcher.
Yeah, I think he's the first baseman.
Yeah.
Hato, yeah.
I always respected him because right before he took that swing, he had the
Biggest chaw.
the biggest chaw and
He had
dip
a
spit I've
horseshoe,
ever
dude.
seen in my life.
That horse just took up his whole mouth. Strikeout on a Ethos pitch.
Yeah.
Just
Bill Murray and
loaded.
Kingpin. No. All right.
The
So
two
we're not going
perfect
to count
guys.
that one
However,
sport?
time out.
The two
What
perfect
we-
guys in basketball.
What we talked about earlier with you need that glue, Bill goddamn Murray.
Bill Murray. In any
Space Jam.
Bill Murray
Space
movie
Jam.
ever.
Space
If
Jam.
Bill Murray's in it, he's the glue.
Zombieland, he's the glue.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Groundhog's
They're
Day.
not.
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
he's
He's
the
the
lead
main
guy,
character.
so he's got a
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack,
Glue
yes.
guy. Great.
Glue guy. All the way.
The zombie movie.
stripes.
He said that already.
Oh.
The zombie movie.
Oh,
So is there anything we're leaving
Ghostbusters.
out here, aside from villains,
And
that
Ghostbusters
needs to be mentioned for what makes a great sports movie?
I feel like
the sport?
Let me say this.
There has to be sports
There
being
has
played
to
in the
be.
movie.
I
Because
want
honestly,
the.
Die Hard, great movie, not a good sports movie.
But it's a Christmas movie.
I want the couple paragraphs at the end of the movie where it recaps everybody's life afterwards. and that's not in there. It's not a great.
Only
sports
2
movie.
out of like the 8 are good. The
Yeah,
rest are
everybody else is
depressing.
like-
The only ones I can think of though are replacements. Remember the Titans did it when they talked
Yeah.
about everybody.
Coach Carter did it.
Coach Carter did it. Actually,
So that's
The Express
great.
did it.
Fact check.
you're right.
Friday Night
4.
Lights did it.
I
5.
thought of another Glory Road. The
Did it?
basketball movie. They
6.
did it.
I was in that movie.
Everyone became a teacher.
Yes, I was. I was in the classroom scene.
Were
I
you
was in the
were
front,
you
could see the back of
Armstrong
my
in that
head.
movie? The white guy that only played defense?
He played
How
great.
did you
defense.
know?
He did. He had lockdown, dude.
He did.
No, I was an extra in that movie. Seriously.
you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Edit that out, because then they might like check his shit.
Fact check.
Fact.
I just
Fact check.
No, another movie that they did the recaps on and also had great villains was good old Gridiron Gang with The Rock.
Yes. Good
Yeah,
movie.
like 3 of them died.
From gang-related violence.
Just
Yeah.
says in the like
The 95s and the 86s, I don't know what they were.
One of them got close
They were all
to his
numbers.
mom again. That was a good thing.
That was the white guy.
But if they're not in there, it's not a great sports movie.
no.
It's true.
Yeah,
The fact that
I don't like when I watch.
Sandlot.
Sandlot.
The
Ah.
essential sports
Oh,
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're up to like 9 now.
We're talking about the Gridiron Gang, and the only thing I can think about right now is the fact that their
Okay.
star running back was about this goddamn big.
Mhm.
Did anybody think about that? Did they ever run a play up the middle
I
with that
mean-
guy?
He was shifty,
Have you ever seen Chris Johnson?
elusive.
Fair.
Tariq Cohen.
Right.
Do we really call him a running back or a little guy that catches passes on the
I
outside?
call him
We
fantasy
call him.
points.
I call him the flex on the championship team. That's what I call him.
I really hate him. Honestly, I might kill someone.
Good shot.
He's a man. He's got a beard.
He's got a beard.
More
I
of a
bet
good
you if you
movie.
pull on
Hold
it, it
up.
comes off.
Freaking movie villain, Shooter McGavin.
Yes.
We covered
Said
it.
that
We covered
20
it.
minutes
You
ago.
need to edit this part out.
Oh, whatever.
'Cause,
Dude,
we
honestly,
talked
this is
about
gonna
it
be
for like
awesome
2
content
minutes.
though, so I don't even care.
There should definitely be a blooper reel.
Yeah, well, that and I
That's
mean,
going to
there's
consist
gonna
of
be
you just throwing out random numbers that aren't true.
every
And you
time,
farting.
Yeah.
I was about to say, farting's definitely going to be.
So
in
it's
there.
going to be
happened
Lance
twice.
saying something. Fact check.
Pretty much.
So
Not all in the same order, but
yeah.
Kind of like this.
Ooh. Well,
All right, this has been fun, guys. Signing off.
Well, that does it for this episode of the Cinema Sports Club. We'll see you for episode 3. Hope you all enjoyed it. And, yeah, tell us what makes a great sports movie.
Cheers.
Finger guns.
Your socks say bitch.
says